Are there further requests for 1-minute speeches? Under the Speaker's announced policy of January 3, 2013, the gentleman from California, Mr. Garamendi, is recognized for 60 minutes as a designee of the Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, earlier in the session today, we paused in remembrance of those who were killed here in Washington, D.C. yesterday. Yet another tragedy for this nation, another shooting, senseless, raged by some individual. We heard on the floor here a few minutes ago a plea by some of our colleagues to call us to action so that we who represent the millions upon millions of Americans would find within ourselves the courage to take action on wise gun safety legislation, mental health, and other things that we know can help to address the problem that plagues this nation. And so today, as we start this 1 hour, I want to just remind ourselves that we have work to do here. Joining me tonight is Paul Tonko, representative from the state of New York. We often have had the opportunity to speak on the floor about the issues that confront us. And perhaps, Paul, you may want to comment on this tragedy, and then we'll turn to the other issues that we want to take up today.
Thank you, Representative Garamendi, and thank you for bringing us together on what will be thoughtful discussion on how to invest in America and grow the economy and grow job opportunities, create that climate that best cultivates job action and job growth in our society. But just moments ago on the House floor, we held a moment of silence in recognition, in commemoration, in respect for those who gave it their all as federal employees, many federal employees, in that situation. And I just wanted to attach my comments to those of yours in extending my condolences to the many family members and friends who are so impacted by this tragedy, this horrific act that wipes out their lives prematurely, and may they rest in peace.
I join you in those condolences. Our subject matter for the evening was really going to be about the economy, about income within this nation, or the lack of it. I want to just start by referring to a statement that FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, made during the economic crisis of the 1930s. And in fact, this statement is etched in the marble at the FDR Memorial here in Washington, D.C. And he said, "The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little." The test of our progress. Well, what has been our progress over this last several years? This last week, the economic study of the progress of America since the great crash of 2007 was made public. And there has been progress. There has been economic growth. There has been the creation of wealth. And we have seen progress, but not the kind of progress that FDR talked about in the 30s. What we have seen is exactly the opposite of what he called for, to provide more for those who have little. Here it is, the tale of two Americans, a stunted recovery, but nonetheless a recovery. So where did the economic growth go? Where did the wealth go that was created? Was it to those who have little? No. 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 95% of all of the wealth that this economy created since 2007 and the Great Crash went to the top 1%. 95% of all of the wealth went to the top 1%. The remaining 99% wound up with 5% of the wealth that the nation's biggest economy created since the crash of 2007. Franklin Delano Roosevelt would not have stood for it, and he didn't. Nor did Bill Clinton. From 1993 to 2000, the economy grew very, very rapidly. The distribution of the wealth that was created during those years went in a remarkably different way than what has happened over the last 5 years. During the Clinton period, 55% of all the wealth that this nation created went to the 99%, the bottom 99%. The top 1% did very well. They got 45% of all of the wealth. You can say that was not enough for the bottom 99%, and I would agree. But compared to what's happened over these last 5 years, it's a remarkable improvement on the distribution of wealth. So what is the distribution of wealth? It's not a class struggle. It's about the men and women of this nation that work hard, that get up every day, go to their jobs, as did those 12 people who were killed yesterday here at the Navy Yard in Washington, D.C. They got up, they went to their job. They worked hard for themselves, for their families, and for this nation. So men and women all across this nation, doing what we want them to do, participating in the society, following the American dream, work hard, play by the rules, get on the economic ladder and climb. Here's what happened to them. Not much. Something is desperately wrong here in America, that the result of 5 years of labor by the 99%, they would find their reward to be 5% of the wealth that was created. We need to address this. And tonight, our subject matter is how we can do that. But before we go to that, I want to put up one more chart and then ask my colleague to join in.